Hi guys! So this is my very first try on doing a voiceover tutorial because that has been a request from a lot of you, and I would try to break down on how I do my paintings. So as a start out, I of course do a sketch, and it's just an overall estimation on how the motif is going to turn out on the canvas, like proportions and so on. Sometimes it's detailed. Some things I want detailed just so I can get a better feeling of it, but mostly it's just an overall sketch, as you can see. I like to point out where the shadows is going also, because they are an important part of the motif and an important part of the balance of the motif. Almost every time I start out with the shadows, because I learned that it's much easier because they're quite delicate, and it's much easier to build the painting on top of them. I tend to use a lot of water when I do the shadows, and I smudge a lot with my fingers because I'm very tactile, I think. I like to work with my hands and fingers too. That you can see on my fingers when I'm done. Here, as you can see, I've worked up a lot of the painting at once, and it's just to roughly see how everything will turn out, like the overall feeling of it, and how the colors will work against each other and so on. Now, I work quite differently on every piece, but on this one I thought it was important to just to get this feeling of the flowers and how they will feel and look like. And I start with the darker colors, and then I work my way up with the lighter and lighter, and there you can get the depth and the like the 3D feeling of the flowers. So you work from dark colors until you build with the brightest ones on top. So here I am at the part where I think it's most fun to work with, like the glass and the reflections and the water. It's quite tricky to do it, but you have to learn how it works and how it looks, and once you get a grip on that, then it starts to get easier and easier. It's all about the shadows and the light reflections, and it's very important that you get every part of it. Like the light parts are very light. It's lighter than the background, and then you work from there. And once you get the shadows and the reflections correctly, then you can work with the details, and you just build up from there, more and more detailed, and look at the reflections and the like distinct white glints and so on, and just work. And it's important that everything gets right and straight if you want to have this 3D feeling, like it's almost real. And also, like the reflection, it breaks the lines, like on the stems of the stems, I mean, from the flowers. They break in the lines. And then at the end, it's like the dot on the eye, as we say in Sweden. The small white, like the distinct reflections, and it's like the contrast in lines and everywhere. It's all about the contrast that makes it that very last pop for the 3D feeling. So that's very important when you worked with everything else. And here I am on the flowers again, just working up the details, just putting and here is all about contrast also, like from the darkest dark to the lightest, the light parts. And I think it's quite important not to like keep the balance of not being too detailed, because if you get it really detailed, and then it could be really flat and don't have any life to it. So I think it's, even though it's a detailed and very real life looking painting, for me it's important just to keep out, just to get this painted feeling also, because otherwise it will get quite dead, if you know what I mean. And now come to the last part where I'm adding the twine or the rope, as you say. And this is a fun detail that I have on all my paintings. And this is where you really can get the 3D feeling. And as you see, the further the twine gets from the canvas, the shadows go further down and gets more and more light. And that's the one very important 3D effect that I like to do on my paintings. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed my first ever tutorial. And please leave comments and questions below, and I will try to make the next one even better. See you soon. Bye bye.